Anti-trans sports hysteria will reach a fever pitch from West Virginia to California to the White House. And a special birthday tale from the pages of Athlete is a Gender. Hello again, everybody. I'm Karleigh Webb, and this is Transposition Sports, the official network of KarleighBowl 54. That's right, it's my birthday on Friday. 54 years young and still having fun. At the top of the news this week, for the last 4 years, Becky Pepper-Jackson, a transgender girl in West Virginia, has been in court fighting for a chance to play sports as much as she's towed the starting line in cross country or been in a throws ring in track. This past weekend, the now 14-year-old high school freshman got it from Bridgeport High School, West Virginia, got the opportunity to compete in her state high school championship. And overall, she did pretty well. Finished third in the discus with a throw of 121 feet, 11 inches, good enough for third place on the day. Now, with the third place finish, Pepper-Jackson became the first transgender student athlete to score points and finish on the medal podium at these championships. Her effort was 19 feet behind the winning throw by Sierra Groom, who won her second straight state championship in Class AAA. She also qualified in the shot put and finished 8th. But of course, some people didn't like it, including West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey. Now, since last year's election, Morrisey has followed the GOP's national playbook against transgender people, of course, and made Pepper-Jackson a particular target. During last year's primary, while Jackson was still in middle school, the governor-to-be said this.
You have people, this came up in Bridgeport recently, that someone is doing a shot put. I praised the little girls who walked off and didn't compete because they have to face a male. You don't want little girls to be facing hulking males in the locker rooms.
On Monday, Morrison had more to say, saying, quote, "A boy competing in girls' high school sports at the high school state track meet in West Virginia is wrong and unfair. I'm again urging officials to keep separate scores so that the true winners can be awarded once we win in court." Just a note to Governor Morrisey, you're a grown man picking on a kid. Think about that. Now, let's take a look at California. You think that's bad, this is worse. Now, last week, we told you about A.B. Hernandez, junior at Jurupa Valley High School, qualified in the long jump and the triple jump for the state meet in California. She's among the top 10 in the nation in the triple jump, number 2 in the state in the long jump, and certain people, mainly a disgruntled gym teacher at Hernandez's old high school and a member of the state assembly in Sonia Shaw, who basically seeks to gain higher office next year, superintendent of public education. And how is she doing it? You know how, after all. She's a Republican.
Transphobia, Flora Stronger, America.
Docs harass a kid. A kid. You bully docs harass. I'm here to protect the girls that are having to compete against a boy. Did I say anything about a child?
Oh,
nope.
You dox that child
nope.
all the time. I've
nope.
seen it all.
You just
his
did it
mom
at the press
doxes
conference.
him.
You
His
just
mom
did it at the
doxes
press
him.
conference.
His mom is blasting him around, posting him all over.
You are the first person who doxed that child, Sonia, a child.
Anything that's been shared about him is public knowledge.
Sanctioned bullying of a child. And it's disgusting and it's cruel.
If I did what you're saying, I would have been arrested because Bonta would have put me in handcuffs. Where's the handcuffs? You have the supermajority in Sacramento. You have AB 59 right now that Scott Wiener's pushing. Let's talk about what Scott Wiener's pushing right now to shut me up from telling the truth.
I would love to know how
let's do it.
How you sleep at night knowing you are bullying a child, Sonia. How do you sleep? A child.
I sleep very good by protecting girls.
You know
I sleep. Then don't support boys and girls locker rooms and sports. Then don't support boys and girls locker rooms.
And of course, there is the Trump administration. Here's how they play into this. They threatened to withhold, quote, large-scale federal funding from California, a state which receives a third of its total educational funding from the federal government. Here's what President Trump had to say on Truth Social, quote, as a male, he was a less than average competitor. As a female, this transition person is practically unbeatable. I am ordering local authorities, if necessary, to not allow this transition person to compete in the state finals. This is a totally ridiculous situation. What's ridiculous is President Trump actually sticking his nose into this and can't name the kid even though we know who he's talking about, nor the fact that he kind of conveniently forgets that this kid was in 3 events and Hernandez didn't qualify for state in one of them, the high jump. Now, to her credit, Hernandez has largely stayed above the fray. After all, she's a high school kid who really isn't fazed. And again, here's what she's had to say about all the noise and nonsense the Capitol in Maine just 2 weeks ago.
I'm still a child, you're an adult, and for you to act like a child shows how you are as a person. And nothing I can do about people's actions, just focus on my own.
Now, the California Interscholastic Federation has decided, you know what, let's just give a participation trophy because certain cisgender people are upset.
That's a boy! That's a boy! That's a man!
The CIF, which runs most high school sports in the state, announced Tuesday that additional competitors will be placed in certain events due to the presence of a transgender girl athlete who qualified for the state championships this weekend. They said, quote, under this pilot entry process, any biological female student athlete who will have earned the next qualifying mark for one of their sections, automatic qualifying entries in the CIF state meet, and did not achieve the CIF state at-large mark in the finals at their section meet, will be extended an opportunity to participate in the 2025 CIF State Track and Field Championships. The CIF believes this pilot entry process achieves the participation opportunities we seek to afford our student athletes. Now, being a transgender person in this society right now, and being a transgender woman who plays sports, I understand the way this thing works. You see, you have people crying about fairness, but no fairness will be shown to A.B. Hernandez, and it's not a surprise, really. The CIF is just backing up what California Governor Gavin Newsom has already said about her. Let's take a look.
Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. It is an issue of fairness.
So
it's deeply unfair.
Would you speak out against this young man, A.B. Hernandez, who right now is going to win the state championship in the long jump? I can see you wrestling with it.
No, I'm not wrestling. I'm not wrestling with the fairness issue. I totally agree with you.
Now, one reason I hate this is that it goes back to the same nonsense transphobes always say. Transgender women are not women and cisgender women stink at sports. And that's what you're really saying with all of this. A.B. Hernandez has been othered, not only because of the initial plank, but the next plank, according to the Newsom administration.
The CIF announced a new pilot entry process for the upcoming track and field championships, allowing a, quote, biological female student athlete to compete who may have otherwise been displaced from getting into the championships by a trans athlete. We also know there will be a change to the medal system that will allow trans athletes to essentially be scored on their own. So in long jump, for example, there could be a first place winner for the boys, the girls, and a third for a transgender student.
And you know what's funny? A lot of the people who cry about fairness and safety when they're really trying to uphold their transphobia, you know, people like
Karen's against women's sports because we don't really care about women's sports. We're here for the transphobia.
These are the same people who cry about participation trophies, yet I'm pretty sure they have no problem with the massive participation trophy that the CIF has handed out here. Let me talk as an athlete for a minute, because this only got worse. You see, when I was a little kid, in fact, when I was that little 10-year-old kid, I wrote about an athlete as a gender. And oh, by the way, if you haven't gotten this book, go get it. It's really that good. Some great stories, including the story about yours truly. See, when I was that little 10-year-old kid playing on my first football team, my dad always told me that you're the littlest person out there, so you have to be the most aggressive. And that means no one's going to take it easy on you because you're little. You've got to figure out a way to beat someone who's bigger, perhaps stronger, and perhaps faster. That's what sports is all about, he would always say. And I carry those lessons even to now. On Saturday night, I'm going to walk on a football field again with the Connecticut ambush at age 54. Believe me, no one's going to give me an extra down or an extra minute to catch my breath if I have to chase down some collegiate track champion who's 30 years my junior. That's part of sports. You got to figure it out. And that's the thing that I hate the most as an athlete about what the California Interscholastic Federation is doing here. Number one, you don't cheat the game. You don't cheat the game out of its prizes. You don't cheat the game out of sportsmanship. You don't cheat the game out of the honor of competition. And number two, you don't cheat the athletes, especially the kids. What the CIF has just done here to placate uncomfortable transphobic cisgender people has done both. First, you're cheating the game. You've cheated the game out of its prize. Because now the prize, no matter who wins it, has an asterisk. And if A.B. Hernandez wins it, there's no guarantee she's going to get it. Because if the CIF will back off on this, what's the next thing they'll concede? They'll probably find a way to make her an exhibition participant rather than the competitor that she's been for 3 years without incident. And that's not right for AB. I'd like some fairness for her. But on the other side, this rips off all the cisgender girls who competed with her. Because basically, you're saying that those girls can't compete. Athletic patriarchy in 2025. Really? Really? You've taken away that kid's chance at being called a state champion. You're taking away that kid's chance of perhaps pulling off an upset against somebody who's been top ranked most of the year in both of her events. You've taken away the drama of athletic competition and you've cheapened it with this farce to placate people like a Sonia Saw or a Riley Gaines who don't care about kids and don't care about sports. You've cheated the game and you've cheated the athletes, and it just isn't right. No matter who wins at Clovis this weekend, everyone loses except perhaps a woman who's trying to run for state superintendent of public schools who spent a lot of her free time harassing this young girl and her mother. Nareda Hernandez, the mother of AB, had to send a cease and desist order to Shaw, and this is what Shaw did with that order. Take a look.
The problem that I have is I just said it was unfair and that a boy is stealing these opportunities from girls, because that's the truth. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I also have First Amendment rights, and I will never shut up in regards to that. So this cease and desist, that's what I feel about that cease and desist.
Voters of California, is this the person you want running public education? I don't think so. But this is probably the only winner of the competition this week. Perhaps. I hope she loses at the ballot box. But in any case, to A.B. Hernandez, good luck. And jump well. Because I'm rooting for you to win, no matter what. And to all those adults who are going to mess with her, verily I say unto you, get a life. When we return to Transposition Sports, a special birthday story about yours truly from the pages of Athlete is a Gender. What happened that special season when I came back to football? You'll find out. I'm Karleigh Chardonnay Webb. This is Transposition Sports. Stay with us.
So maybe I'll start a little bit softer.
This little light of mine.
Dad?
Before you say anything, I just want to apologize for what I said this morning. I've been doing a lot of thinking. If you want to change your name, if you want to wear a dress.
It's a skirt, Dad.
Skirt? I don't know the kind of support you need, but let's get you some for all this transgender stuff.
Wait. Are you serious? Dad, what is this?
Oh, this is me supporting you. This is me saying I love you. This is me not losing you.
Love you, Dad.
Love you. Holly.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This year, I finally get to play tackle football. I get to wear a helmet and all the pads and everything. 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call from the coach. We were drafted like we were pros. My team is the Cardinals. Someday I want to be in the NFL. My dad says, you're maybe the littlest person out here, so you have to be the most aggressive, and the bigger kids will run you over. I can't let that happen. Dad says, if you let them push you around, they'll think you're a girl. My name is Chipper Webb. I'm 10 years old, and I'm not scared of nothing.
I'm nervous like a little kid. Am I really doing this? It's 6:30 a.m. in January. It's dark and cold. I'm old. I'm trans. I haven't played full contact football since high school. I met this group at a festival last summer. One of their players said, "You look like you can play a little bit." I thought she was kidding. 2 months later, I'm at Reapers women's football practice thinking, will they accept me? My name is Karleigh Webb. I'm 51 years old. I'm excited and I'm scared. What can you tell me about a little kid named Chipper Webb and why was it important that that little kid is in this book?
I can take that one. I think that Chipper Webb didn't know about how fantastic her life could be and how big the world could be, and that finding yourself doesn't mean giving up other parts of yourself, that you don't have to lose one community to gain another. Getting somebody who had seen the turning point, who had lived the turning point, and got to come back to sports. Like, I think that's like something that I always think about with your story, was like that return to sports is so powerful. That is so powerful. I can't even really wrap my mind around how that must have felt, but I think that your story does a really good job of trying to explain that, of like, that this was like the final piece of finding yourself again without losing who you had become.
Reverse direction here. That's Webb with the touchdown. Karleigh Webb on the misdirection to handoff touchdown.
Welcome back to Transposition Sports. I'm Karleigh Chardonnay Webb, and that touchdown you just saw was my first offensive touchdown in 38 years. That happened in 2023, playing for this team, Reapers Women's Football. Shout out to the red and the black. And that's also a part of a special story I wrote for this anthology. Athlete is a Gender. It's in your bookstores and on your online combines right now. In-depth stories, LGBTQ athletes, including yours truly. Go buy it. You'll be glad you did. Now, my particular story in that book looks at me playing on my first tackle football team at the age of 10, and then getting to fall in love with the game all over again 40 years later. You're about to see a story of trans joy. My trans joy. It began on a sunny day with a few high clouds at a sports complex south of Richmond, Virginia. The date was Saturday, April 15th, 2023. Two women's tackle football teams, the local black-blue clad River City Sting and the visiting gray, red, black, Connecticut-based Reapers women's football were warming up. It was the season opener for the visiting team. For most of the players, it was the beginning of yet another season. For one of them, a writer who follows the George Plimpton example as a participatory journalist, it was a special game. You see, it was a special game for me. Now, I haven't played any regulation football since I was bench fodder on a high school team 35 years ago. You see, I grew up in Nebraska, back when Big Red was truly Big Red. Football is life out there. But here I was, nervous, standing next to a band of sisters, ready to tee it up and hit somebody all over again. And you know something? I asked myself, well, how did I get here? Let's go back to a different sunny day, June 2022. I was at a Pride Festival in West Hartford, Connecticut. A swirl of happy and noise, bumping music, bright colors, and people wearing anything and everything. And I was in a football jersey, done in trans pride, salmon, azure, and cream, with a matching skirt and socks in the trans flag pattern, and I was carrying a football. I ran into an old friend of mine, Courtney Paulette, who played on one of the many women's tackle football teams that have come and gone locally over the years. Now, she told me about a team that had a tent at this festival and prodded me to check them out and maybe consider playing. Now, I balked at first because of a critical question that every trans person asks when it comes to sports. Will the league or organizers let me play? How will I be perceived by other players? For us and them. Will I be accepted? And I also thought in practical terms. I doubt any team is looking for a 51-year-old at any position, but maybe the team needs a videographer. The team was Reapers Women's Football, a squad based in Western Connecticut. I walked up to their tent and met a group of proud, intimidating, serious athletes who looked like they would gear up at a moment's notice and play some ball. It was stark contrast to me, looking like an anime interpretation of American football. We ended up talking, and one of their players, in fact their starting quarterback, Sam Valentino, noticed I was carrying a ball. And she asked me, do you know what you're doing with that thing? Other players noticed too. We started playing catch with my ball, and they all looked at themselves and thought, she looks like she might be able to play. Now, the team's administrator, Sonia Flusky, asked, have you ever thought about playing some football? And I answered, could I? Her response planted the seed. She said, we're a women's football team for all women. I ended up buying a team t-shirt, taking one of their flyers for their first tryout practices to start in August. I left that Pride Festival thinking I'd forget all about it. Wrong. I decided the night before that I would go to that first tryout practice. It was at a grade school in Danbury, Connecticut. My plan was to just blend in, hustle, learn how they do things, and then suddenly, slowly show my skills. That plan lasted about 10 seconds. Flusky recognized me from Pride, and so did a few of the other players. The practice began with me feeling that new kid on the first day of school nervousness. It ended, the Reaper starting quarterback, same Sam Valentino, the league's all-star game MVP, throwing me a corner route. I made a diving catch to haul it in. I heard cheers from the entire team as I ran back to the huddle. One of the team members, Anna Villafane, the heart of the team, grabbed me by the lapels and told me, you better come play for us next year. There were more practices through the fall, and I went to a lot of them, and with each practice, my hunger to play grew. But I also had to pay for it. See, in the women's game, it's pay to play, and that includes the league fees and buying your own equipment, and trust me, the protective trappings of football aren't cheap. The calendar leapt into 2023, and cold weather put us into an indoor practice field. Every Saturday, driving through the darkness to make a 6:30 a.m. practice session. Now, about the team. Their most aggressive players were also aggressive about teaching and leading. There was Bear Smith and Puda Edwards. They're among the best interior players on the line in the league, and they were upgrading my technique at the line of scrimmage. If they weren't getting me used to being physical again, vets Sandy Ortiz and Ashley Reed, our youngest Reaper, were. Now Flusky, who's our center when she's not running the day-to-day operations of the team, and Elizabeth Els Landfair, who was pretty much a lifer in this game, double-teamed me more than once. Now special shout out to Elsa's spouse, the unofficial team mom, Gretchen, who loaned me a modern spec helmet and shoulder pads for the season. Now, I gotta mention Nicole Cruz because she gave me my first welcome to the Reapers moment when she planted me like a carrot in full pads during a scrimmage, along with our starting quarterback spout. Now, Tina Valentino is our fullback. She wears John Riggins' jersey number and she runs like him. Don't tackle her high. I learned that one the hard way. And I was also running hard to keep up with our fastest players, led by Anaya Booker. She's our speed receiver, speed halfback, speed quarterback, speed everything. Sprinting to chase her during those morning wind sprints at practice was a shock to the system. And not to be outdone, her defensive counterpart, Jessica Sky Schuyler. She's an incredible safety who plays alongside a twin, diminutive, dynamic duo at cornerback, Miche and Monet Dula. As we got closer to our first game, I noticed I was picking up the fundamentals and the playbook and getting a lot of support. I wasn't just a running back, linebacker, defensive end. The vibe from my teammates, our head coach, offensive coordinator, Gary Magis, and our intense defensive coordinator, Lawrence Pierce, said a clear, unspoken message. Karleigh, you're one of us now. They opened up to me, and it made it easy for me to do the same. Now that's special for anyone coming into a new team. But for a transgender person, especially a transgender woman pursuing sports in this climate we're living in right now, getting this level of support from an entire squad of cisgender women, that's priceless. Now by March, we're practicing outside. And with 2 weeks left to the opening kickoff, I received my jersey. There's a home one and there was a road one, with Reapers on the front, Webb on the back, and 46 as my chosen number. I took number 46 as a homage to a favorite player from my youth, former Philadelphia Eagles cornerback and longtime NFL head coach Herman Edwards. The number is also a tribute to the age when I came out to myself and moved forward in my gender transition. I tried on my jerseys that day to a lot of happy tears, and I would feel a lot of emotions all the way to a car trip south and a Saturday at night kickoff. Oh, about the game, we took control early. Tina Valentino's gashing runs, Booker had 3 touchdowns. It takes us to a nice lead. Now, my big moment happened on our second offensive play. A dive play to the right, my first career carry in a real game since leg warmers were in style. But the real moment was in the huddle before the play. We've got strong 36 lead on 1. Sam Valentino looks at me and says, "Are you ready, baby girl?" I nodded, and you could see the smile on my face from outer space. I was having fun. I was blocking and tackling. I felt like I was 10 years old again, flying around in full pads. Now, 20 seconds left in the first half. We're sitting on a 20-0 lead, but the River City Sting are driving. They're desperate to put some points on the board before halftime. Here's what happened next.
James looking, dumped, and it's intercepted. That is Webb, and Webb is going to take that to the house. Touchdown, Reapers.
60 yards later, I'm in the end zone with a big smile on my face. It was my first touchdown since I was in 9th grade. Oh, by the way, Ronald Reagan was president back then. We ended up winning by a score of 42-6. Amid a lot of smiles and soreness all around, I was tired, sore, cramping, but bawling out of pure joy. To get to play a sport I love and to bring all of me onto the field of play, I brought the happy tears gushing. And it extended through the moment when Coach Gary had me lead the breakdown cheer. My voice was high-pitched. I had a lot of little kid energy mixed in with a lot of gratitude for my chosen football family. There's a lot to be said for being included, especially on the playing field. Thank you, I exclaimed through my tears with all hands in the huddle. Thank you for letting me be a part of this team. I love this team. Great win today. Reapers on me, Reapers on 3. 1, 2, 3, Reapers. In 2024, the Reapers merged with 2 other teams to form the Connecticut Ambush. That's the team I play for today. And I love being a part of the Black and Orange. But my heart will always be, in many ways, red and black. Because that moment in 2023 brought me back to being that little 10-year-old kid again, playing on my first team. And even to this day, whenever I take the field, I can see the image of me at 10 years old, smiling in approval. For Transposition Sports, I'm Karleigh Webb.